I'm excited for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Or is it I don't know if it's Dragon Ball FighterZ with a Z or Dragon Ball FighterZ. I don't know which one it is, but I'm really excited for that game because I've been a Dragon Ball Z fan and Dragon Ball, all that stuff, for as long as I can remember. Since I was 5, 6 years old. Whenever Toonami started and it started airing in North America, that's when I got into it. And man, Dragon Ball FighterZ, it looks really freaking good, and it is tickling my nostalgia giblets real good. And I haven't been excited for something the way I'm excited for that game in a long time. And the trick that they've managed to do is they've managed to both make a cool fighting game that looks like it's going to be mechanically engaging, but also a really, really awesome Dragon Ball Z game, or a Dragon Ball game if you're stuck up about it. And that's really amazing, because a lot of if you are a Dragon Ball Z fan or a Dragon Ball fan and you've purchased any of the games, then you probably know that they're not that good. They let you play with your favorite characters, and they tickle that itch, and you get to say, "Ooh, look, I'm doing a Kamehameha like Goku," and it's so much fun. But they're just kind of crappy games overall, and they only exist as a fan service to make a quick buck for the company, and it's a throwaway thing. You know, there's never going to be a competitive scene for Dragon Ball Xenoverse, right? There's never going to be a top 10 fighting games of all time where you're going to see Dragon Ball Z Budokai. All right, it's just not going to happen because those games are shit. But Dragon Ball FighterZ is looking like it's going to be something where you can say, okay, this, I don't even like anime at all, but this looks poppin'. It's a tag team fighting game. I'm not going to really get too much into it, but it looks amazing, and I'm excited for it. And it's all driven by nostalgia. But also because I like fighting games a lot, but I haven't played them a lot. For Honor was the last fighting game I've played, and then before that, it was Tekken 3 or 2. It was either on the PS1 or the PS2, so that's telling you how little I've played fighting games in my gaming career. And I guess Super Smash Bros. Was it on the GameCube? I think it was Super Smash Bros. Melee that I had. And that's I'm showing my age a little bit. I'm 25 years old, and I had a GameCube, and I played Super Smash Bros. On it. So fighting games, I've always enjoyed them, but I've kind of fallen off on them a little bit. And maybe it's because I suck at them. I've never been really good at it, but I started watching Injustice 2 videos when that game first came out. There's this guy named True Talent. He is a YouTube streamer, and he uploads a lot of his content to YouTube, and he just plays the game, and he talks a little bit. And that's all I need, because honestly, a lot of the stuff on YouTube, I can't watch it. If your video starts by saying, "What's going on, guys? We're back with another video," I can't fucking watch it. I'm turning it off immediately. I gotta stop cursing so much. Who cares? It doesn't matter. But yeah, if your video starts with anything like that, if you tell me to like and subscribe within the first 10 seconds, get out of here. I'm stopping the video. All right, I can't deal with it. And there's certain people where the video starts and they just get right into it. It's either just pure gameplay or the actual meat and potatoes of the video is right there within the first 30 seconds. I understand what I'm watching within the first 30 seconds without having to go through, "All right, guys, we're about to start this video, but before we do that, I want to tell you about something really awesome. If you check the link in the description," and you know, I don't even mind people putting ads in their videos, but if the ad is 2 minutes long for something that should only take 5 seconds to explain, get it out of here. I'm going to the next video. Because I had ads once, you know, but my ads were quick and they were informative. They were pretty, I guess. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I don't even remember what I was talking about before. I need to eat more vegetables or something. Yeah, but I was watching Injustice 2 videos back when that game first came out, and I learned a lot about the terminology of fighting games, and I started getting really, really into it. Ooh, he's doing his mix-up. Oh, he keeps he keeps doing an overhead. Ooh, he crossed him over, and I started really getting into that world, because the fighting game community, it really is like a club. You need to do your research and learn the terms if you want to be an avid or a strong active member in that community, because people will say terms that will go straight over your head, and ain't nobody got time to explain it to you. Because with other games, it's a bit simpler. With first-person shooters, there's not much to it. There's guns, that there's range and recoil and stuff. But those are terms that most people can wrap their head around. But I don't know. I've always felt like the fighting games just have this level of complexity and this level of something that takes it to where it feels like you're joining a cult when you get into it. And it's the same with MOBAs too, to a degree. Like League of Legends, if you don't follow the game, then it's not gonna make any sense to you. You look at it and it's like looking at another language. And I'm glad that I played League of Legends back when it was pretty fresh. Within the first couple of years when it came out, that's when I started playing it, and I haven't played it much since. But I've watched pretty much every champion spotlight that's ever come out, and I've watched the growth and development of that game over the years. So I still watch the world championships of the game, and I feel like I'm part of the club. But I have to do work to be part of that club. I need to know what masteries are. I need to know who the champions are, what a bot laner is, what a mid laner is, what you do in the top lane, what you do in the jungle. Don't nobody know about that if they don't follow MOBAs. Are you kidding me? You can't join the club if you don't know what a jungler is. Get out of here. I'm clicking off the video. But on a different note, I was, because going back to first-person shooters, I was watching a Counter-Strike tournament the other day, and I don't know anything about Counter-Strike. I don't follow it. I'm not interested in the game at all. But I was able to watch a Counter-Strike tournament, or a match in the tournament, or whatever, and I understood everything that was going on, because it's a very simple experience, and as a gamer, I know everything that's going on in a very basic first-person shooter. There's obviously plenty of nuance that I don't know about in the game, but I understand when somebody gets a quick scope. I've played enough Call of Duty, I've played enough Titanfall, all these games to understand when somebody gets a headshot with a pistol from across the map, that takes skill. So I was able to just pick that up, or just turn on the video and just understand it, and just appreciate the skill level of these guys. But going back to League of Legends, you will not appreciate the skill level of the players involved if you don't know how to actually play the game. It's just because this goes even beyond gaming. You can understand that a football player is doing some wild shit even if you don't understand football, and it goes for a lot of sports. But I think where you start to lose it is stuff like golf and tobogganing or cricket. Tobogganing, what the hell is a toboggan? Or even certain gymnastics, I guess, in the Olympics, and discus throwing or whatever. There's certain things where if you don't really understand it, you just lose interest in it a bit. And that applies to fighting games and games like League of Legends, MOBAs, where the multiplayer experience is very rich. And I'm hoping that exists with Dragon Ball FighterZ, because that's always been one of the problems with the Dragon Ball Z games, is that they're not rich fighting games. They have a very basic feel to them, to where they appeal to the lowest common denominator, but they also appeal to the fans because it's got their favorite characters in it. But there's this hardcore audience that appreciates the genre that can't get into it. And just based off the stuff that I've seen about it, it does appear that there's going to be a level of complexity that's going to be able to draw in the people like me that are a little bit more advanced, that want to get into this nitty gritty. Okay, if I do this combo and then I follow up with an overhead, I got a mix up coming or whatever, and be able to really flesh out the overall experience, because that's ultimately what makes or breaks video games nowadays. Is the multiplayer or specifically multiplayer games, is the multiplayer experience good? And there's a lot of games that do have really great multiplayer experiences, but because of other controversies, they don't live up to their ultimate potential. I think I think For Honor was a great example of that, because that is still one of the best multiplayer experiences that I've ever played. The Dominion mode and the 1v1 duels, the 2v2, they really made me feel like I was a knight in shining armor or a samurai or a Viking, and I was ready to chop somebody's head off. And that experience was enough to keep me playing for, I don't know, let me check on Steam, see how many hours I played on this. Where's the mouse? There it is. Library For Honor. I played 324 hours of For Honor. And that's a decent amount of hours to put into anything. I've had relationships that didn't last that long. But the experience was there, and it was very carefully crafted. It was a visual masterpiece. The game looks fantastic, and the characters, I think one of the bigger problems with For Honor was that they learned so much as they continued to develop the game, that the base game, what came out last year in February, it's night and day compared to what the game is today. Because the new characters that came out, they flesh out the mechanics of the game, and they really push the mechanics to the limit. Whereas at the beginning, it feels like the basic roster of, I think it was 12 characters, they were just starting to get an understanding of how to really push the limits of their system. And it's partly because they developed so many new systems. They were a very unique take on what a fighting game could be. They had so how the system works is you have so let's just say you're a samurai, and you got your sword, and you have a top guard, a left guard, and a right guard, and that's the equivalent of blocking high, mid, and low, or overhead, mid, and low in a traditional fighter. But For Honor is a fully three-dimensional game. There's no standard background. It's all interactable. You can push people into walls and whatnot. And from there, you have your combos, you have your guard breaks and whatnot. And the system worked with the basic 12 characters, but as soon as the first set of 2 DLC characters came out, everybody was like, oh, so this is what we can actually do with the system. Oh, this is so much more expansive than what we had. And of course, there were plenty of really expansive characters in the base roster. I think one of the best examples was the Warlord was a really good example of a character that took advantage of all of the For Honor systems. I would like to imagine that was one of the later characters they developed, because it was it took so much advantage of all the tools that they had developed. And then a couple of others were really good at this. The Lawbringer was another one. He was a guy with a spear. That doesn't matter. But the point is, as they kept releasing characters, you kept seeing more and more of the potential that was in the For Honor system, and it was improving the experience so drastically. But the experience started out really great. And then now that all of the first season or now the first wave of DLC characters have been released, I want to say that there's 20 characters that you can play in the game now. The For Honor experience is really amazing. And I think we're going to wrap it up here by saying this has been talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ and other fighting games. So if you enjoyed what you were listening to and you're able to piece together some kind of beginning, middle, and end, feel free to drop a comment down below. As always, this has been iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.